Hello? Hello? Is anybody out there? Oh, it's you, Al. Hey.
I'm here.
Hi, everybody. We're Fat Jack's Comicrypt. That's Al. I'm Mr. Rogers without a cardigan. But I got some shoes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back, Mr. Hunter.
What's up?
Mr. Chamberlain. Word man, Mr. Kiernan.
Ooh, Gary's here. Was Gary in the first show?
Gary was super in the chat in the last one. It was just, there was a lot. Somebody was talking a fucking lot.
I'm sorry, everybody. I've heard that I should interact with the chat more. There's all these lessons.
You should know, anytime I give you Philly scores, it's from Gary.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. He's always watching the Phillies. So shout out to the Phillies if they're watching.
Because the last time that Gary and I were in a bar together and the Phillies were on, the entire bar wished that we weren't there.
Really?
Gary and I were very loud.
Was this in Philly?
This was in Philly. It was like at Oscars. Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to go to that bar anyway.
I'd go to that bathroom again. I'm starting late now.
Not that bathroom.
Oh, God, no. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Mr. Melendez, what's up? What up?
What is up, everybody? We are Fat Jack's Comicrypt. That's Al. I'm Brendan. We're here to sell comic books.
And everybody, please hit the like and subscribe button. That's important too.
Validate our existence, please.
That's how we get paid.
For anyone who is not following us over, before we get to the business, let's just throw a little preamble out here about what tonight is. For anyone who is hopefully following us over from our local show, we have some pretty epic books tonight. And we are absolutely going to get to them all. I'm pretty sure probably this next hour, we're going to burn through a good amount of them. Some of them are quite pricey. So, just fair warning. So if you are possibly maybe not following us over for the local show and you are now joining us maybe for the first time, this is how this works. We are here to sell some books. So the way that we do that is you're going to need to claim those books in the chat. All right. But please be as specific as possible because some of these books might even have the same title. Okay.
And yeah, there's very little leeway here because a lot of people are going to be claiming. I mean, I don't want somebody to not get a book because they didn't put the issue number in and just the title. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be real like a stickler about it.
Because this is not an auction. This is first come, first serve, all that kind of stuff. The experience is very good at maintaining timestamps.
Yeah, so if we have to, we can break it down. Shout out to Zayden in the chat.
Zayden, yeah. All right. So we're going to need you to claim those books in the chat. Like we said, be specific. All right. Any of you who follows us on our Instagram page, the FJC Paradox, you're probably already aware of what some of these books are. And I thought last week when I said this is the most epic show we'll probably ever have in regards to the books we have, and it'll probably not happen that often. Mike obviously made me a liar because
those books were trash last week. Just trash. No,
because he showed up with some holy grails when it comes to this industry, and some of them are in some pretty good condition.
Put it this way: anything you didn't see last week, it's probably on this show tonight. Not even fucking around.
Yeah,
that's legit.
All right, so but because of that, we obviously are not displaying anything at the moment because we are going to kind of take our time. We don't want to rush. We want to kind of give everyone an opportunity to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about and what we are maybe about to reveal. And then you can kind of acknowledge if you want to go that route or not. I'm going to attempt, before I reveal the book, I'm going to attempt to acknowledge its grade and its price. So if you hear me say, I don't know, something like very good and $2,500, if right away, no matter what that book is, that kind of takes you out of the running, totally understand. Because I got to be honest with you, there's a couple books here I would have liked for my own personal collection, but I work here, so I don't know how I'm buying some of these books. But I'm going to try. We're going to try to avoid too much confusion, because again, these are just amazing issues. And I think, did we only get through 2 or 3 of the top 10?
We only got through 3 of the top 10. They all moved on the last show, and there was the lowest. I don't want to say like the low tier, but they were the more reasonable price wise. Yeah. Condition wise, maybe not so much, but price wise, they were definitely on the bottom of the spectrum.
Because a lot more of the few top 10 books that we have left, we're definitely getting into the low thousands.
It's a lot of money. And to anybody who claims a book, we ask you pick it up or pay for it within 10 days or get in touch with us within 10 days, because we're running up on it now, and a few books are still sitting here from last week that I haven't heard from anybody. So they'll be on next week's show if I don't hear from them.
And again, anything that doesn't sell tonight, especially in regards to these specific books, they'll be on Mike's show tomorrow, which is on the Comic Book Shopping Network on Facebook. Mike and Al will be there from 12 to 1.
12 to 1 and 4 to 6 tomorrow, and 10 to 12 on Tuesday. You'll find a link on our Facebook page. And if for whatever reason if you see something on the show that doesn't sell, you can always hit us up, email us, come in during the week. If you don't see it, just ask.
Okay. So I imagine a lot of you have watched this show before, so you kind of know how this works. We already talked about how you claim books. But for anyone who might be joining us for the very first time, and you claim some books tonight and you want to purchase some of our items, we're going to need to get your contact and your shipping info. All right. And the best way we do that is our email, which is obviously you're seeing it, but it's fjccshow@gmail.com. Al, he handles all that, and he does an exceptionally wonderful job. So trust in him. He packs them very well. So outside of a bunch of guys who accused us, I'll never get over that. I mean,
Mr. Kieran, you got your books, right? I mean,
Cunningham?
No,
Chamberlain.
Or what I say, Kieran.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Chamberlain, you got
All right.
Yeah, No, it was a ridiculous amount of packaging this week.
Yeah.
But hopefully you got your books okay.
Because some of these books need to be taken care of very well.
Yeah, we can't hand deliver this shit. But we would, for the price you're paying, we might have.
Yeah. So again, email us at fjccshow@gmail.com. We're going to need to get your information and all that kind of stuff. Plus, Al's going to have to send out, invoices, all that kind of stuff. That's the business of it all.
That's the business. We're done. Let's get some book. What do you want
to
start with?
Okay. All right.
You want a top 10? You want to go? Let's go right out the gate with a phenomenal fucking cover. I apologize for the profanity. This didn't get a lot of love on the Instagram for whatever reason.
Probably because I gave it too much love on the Instagram.
Well, that could be the
Because
case.
I acknowledge the personal significance of this issue myself.
This is just too much of a political hotspot for everybody. This guy, he's just,
I recently, Duke's friend, Jason and Duke's friend was in the shop.
That's right.
And I tried to explain my love of a certain idealistic DC character and an idealistic Marvel character. I don't know if everyone agrees with me, which is irrelevant, but it doesn't change the fact that this is not only a personally significant issue for myself, but it is a classic. It is a stone cold, iconic, Silver Age Marvel book. Okay? So in Strange Tales, I believe 114, the Human Torch fought an imposter of this character, which was how Marvel was beginning to reveal this Golden Age character to Silver Age audiences. Because that issue, which ended with Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, reminiscing about the absence of this character in the Marvel Universe, it would lead directly to this issue. And from this issue, it would lead directly to his reappearance in Tales of Suspense, which would lead inevitably into his first Silver Age solo series, which we actually sold during our local show. Now, I have an Alex Ross painting of this cover in my bedroom. It is probably the only comic book related image in my room.
Wait, like an original?
No, not original. It was like a Dynamic Forces sort of beautiful lithograph print from like 1999.
Cool.
Like real early, I don't know. Dynamic Forces was created in 96, 97. Anyway, but it's done in Alex Ross's style, except without any of the text, and it is awesome. I've held on to very little things for over 2 decades, and that's one of the very few. Now, in all fairness, this grade is good. Okay, so even though this book is very expensive as a high grade, and if you CGC that thing at a very high grade, we're talking like well into the multi thousands of dollars and everything. And yeah, trust me, I'm going to talk a lot about some of these books because if we sell any of them, it'll validate our entire existence. Again, this is a good copy at $600. Okay. So with that said, I imagine most of you already guessed what this is, but just in case you haven't, from 1964, we have, yes.
I was doing the pose.
Okay. From 1964, we have one of the most iconic comic book covers of all time, and the first appearance in the Silver Age of my boy, Captain America. And we are talking about Avengers #4 with all that beautiful Mylar glare. So again, this is a good copy at $600. It is the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America. All right. Now, so like I said, in Strange Tales, I believe it was 114. The Human Torch fights this imposter. And at the very end, Human Torch is sort of reminiscing about Captain America, who's been missing all this time. That would lead directly to this issue where they find Captain America. Well, first of all, the Submariner finds Captain America in the ice, which then leads to the Avengers discovering his body. Now, the interesting thing about this issue that a lot of people might not be aware of is, and something I don't know if I mentioned before, but this issue is the very first time that his origin, where they talk about the detail of, because when the Golden Age era of Captain America ended, Bucky sort of like was in an explosion and sort of disappeared, and Captain America just sort of ends. This is the issue that actually added the new element that Bucky was killed in the bomb explosion, and that led to Captain America falling into the ice and being frozen, which obviously was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's way of explaining why Steve Rogers has been missing for decades. Because again, we're still maintaining a level of continuity that is not part of the time scale kind of variance that they talk about now in regards to Marvel and DC, because we're talking about characters that should be 200 years old at this point. So this issue is not just his first appearance, but it is adding in elements and key elements to Captain America's origin that are beyond canon. Okay. So like I said, this is significant to me. I imagine it might be significant to a lot of the rest of you, but this is an important one to me because Captain America is, if not, like my favorite superhero of all time. And I'm not going to, I already defended it earlier. I'm not going to stand here and defend it again. If anyone thinks that he's a jingoistic Boy Scout, then you obviously have never read Captain America, because when I say Captain America is punk rock, I don't mean that lightly. So anyway, Avengers number 4 from 1964, first Silver Age appearance of Captain America.
Just to everybody in the chat, well, thank you, Mike, first and foremost. And particularly, I'm glad you got it, because Mr. Barucci, you beat him out quite a few times last week. His chat was all jacked up. So he was
so we're like,
he was not super happy with me on Tuesday.
And Mike, I think I was pretty I was intoxicated late at night, and I think I read your Instagram a message and then immediately forgot that I read it until Al brought up that you were having some lag issues in regards to the chat, and you missed out on a bunch of books you were looking for. We apologize for that. Obviously, we don't have much control, but we're trying our best to make this as fair for everybody, because again, this isn't an auction. First come, first serve kind of concept.
Mr. Barucci, if there's a problem with the claim, we got a timestamp from the experience. Sorry.
Okay, so wow,
it's official. It's official. Now he congratulated. It's all good. He congratulated.
So that's the way we started it. That was my favorite.
That was, I mean,
God, I want to sit and think about it for a moment, because even at $600, I was like, can I make this work?
It's too much or too little?
Too much, even for me. Even though and that's why I'm very happy to have my beautiful Alex Ross print.
I mean,
of the cover.
These are not meant for us.
They are not meant for us now.
These are meant for us to sell to people.
And in fact, to be very honest, I actually get a lot of pleasure actually selling these books to you guys who genuinely seem to really enjoy this stuff.
I say this to everybody. I genuinely had a great time last week just handling those. It does something to you.
Yeah.
Just being around these books. I don't know.
Well, because again, I don't want to speak for you, but we've been reading. I've never taken a break from this art form. I'm 42, and I've said this before on the show. I was handed my first comic book, Thor Treasury-sized edition, Jack Kirby, and all that at the age of 3, and I've never looked back. And I've never taken a break, and I have some issues with this industry and some of the periods of time that certain things have happened. I don't love everybody who's involved in this whole thing, but I love this art form. That is why we are middle-aged men still working at a comic book store, because in a weird way, I look at other jobs and I go, no. Because I can hang out here on a Sunday night with a close friend of mine, Hal, and hang out with you guys, and we can talk about, especially these past 2 weeks, some very important books. Books that I love to be able to see in person, because again, like I said, we have a relationship with the history of this art form, and these books are a major part of it. They are cultural artifacts. And if you don't think that, then I don't know why you're watching us. So with that said, we are going to move on to our second book. Here we go. Okay. So this is not part of the top 10, but that doesn't dismiss its relevance. So let me just make sure if I have a note here in case there's something unique or special that I want to remember. Not too much, but still it's fun. Okay. So this book is a very fine minus. So it's a pretty good grade. It is priced at $60, and it is from 1968. It is written by Roy Thomas and illustrated and cover by John Buscema. And we are talking here about Submariner number 2. Again, this is from 1968, a very fine minus grade at $60. This is the issue where Plant Man, of all people, uses Namor as a pawn to attack the Inhumans, which leads to a battle between Namor and Triton. Inevitably, Plant Man is able to capture both of them and do really weird, problematic, uncomfortable stuff to them. But that is for another show after hours to have a discussion about Plant Man's, let's say, abnormal tastes and behavior. So again, Submariner, number 2, 1968, Very fine minus $60.
Mike's taking a step out. So thanks, Mike. Congratulations. I guess that's a big one.
Thank you, Mike. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll talk more about what you called about earlier.
Absolutely.
All right. So there we go.
All right. You ready for a big one? Whew.
Let's see.
Whew. This is a heavy one.
Okay. We're probably not. All right. There's probably no break. So we don't have to. I don't know.
This is the cover of me and you. We're both on here. This
We
is
are?
what would happen in that one show where we didn't give a variant. This is what happened after we turned the cameras.
Let me guess. I know what it is.
You know what it is.
I know what it is. Yeah.
This is what happened at that Christmas party
Yeah.
when everybody stopped what they were doing and just watched us yell at each other.
Because they really thought we were about to get into a
We
fight.
were gonna fight.
We had a Christmas party once at Oscars. And Al and I, this was when Al was drinking at the time, and I was drinking too much.
We were both drinking too much at the time.
Yeah, and we got into this shtick, let's say,
We
that
squared off in the yard.
and a lot of people who were there with us genuinely thought that we were about to get into a fight.
There was like 10 people at that table, but they all just stopped and stared.
But here's the funny aspect of that. Nobody tried to stop us.
No. Let them fight.
Let them fight.
They're friends, let them fight. Let's watch some drunks fight in the street. That's pretty much what it was.
All right, so this is a top 10 book. And this is our highest grade of all the top 10 books, okay? This grade is a very fine plus. And if anyone who was watching us here on The Experience that did not catch us on our local show, I want to also reiterate, all of these books were graded by Fat Jacks himself, the OG Mike. So, like I've said last week and I said earlier tonight, I trust nobody's grading more than Mike. And he acknowledged, and I looked through this, it's a beautiful copy, which is why it is $1,100. All right. So we are now officially taking our first step into some very pricey books. Okay. So this one is very fine plus at $100. Also, this book has always had value. This book is one of a series of books that are also very significant to me. In fact, it's very interesting that Al has pulled out probably two of the most personally significant issues out of the top 10 that we had. And this is part of that. But this book has taken on new interest and new value and new worth, whatever. It's just another.
It's a hot book.
It's a very hot book because there is a little movie coming out, the fourth of a series that kind of sounds like either a weird 80s prog rock album or a strange 70s porn.
American Pie meets Cocoon.
I'm talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, the fourth Thor movie.
That's what it's called.
It's called Love and Thunder. Yes. And I'm specifically talking about this book here at very fine plus at $1,100. It is Journey into Mystery Annual #1. First appearance of Hercules. First appearance of Zeus, who is being played by Russell Crowe in the Love and Thunder film. It is also the first time that Thor and Hercules ever fight. I'm definitely Thor. Al can be Hercules.
I'm good with that.
Hercules. Okay, couldn't help myself. But you also get Thor versus Radioactive Man, Thor versus the Demon Duplicator, Thor versus Lava Men, Thor versus Loki. I mean, this is a jam-packed issue written by Stan Lee, illustrated by Jack Kirby throughout, and part of the famous Asgard versus Olympus storyline, which is the story that was reprinted in the Thor Treasury-sized edition that I was handed at the age of 3 by my deadbeat father, and began the seeds of my love affair with this art form. So again, Journey into Mystery from 1965, annual #1, very fine plus, $1,100. First appearance of Hercules, first appearance of Zeus, first battle between Thor and Hercules. Also, we know for a fact that Russell Crowe is playing Zeus and he's going to be in the 4th Thor movie. There's a lot of rumors that Hercules might be appearing in the Eternals movie. So this book has really gone up in value in the past few months, if not the past year, and is definitely drawing a ton of interest from people. So there we go. One of our top 10, Journey into Mystery, annual #1. All right.
Very cool.
All right. Okay, so next up, from 1964, all right, this is a fine minus copy at $40, okay? Now, there's nothing super key about this issue, considering 2 issues prior was a pretty big one. And I think an issue or 2 after this is a first appearance of a pretty big villain. But still, a lot of great Wally Wood art and kind of like a weird story. So the book that I'm talking about is Daredevil, issue #9. So again, 1964, issue #9. It's a fine minus copy at $40. This is the issue where Matt Murdock goes off to Europe because there is a doctor who will supposedly cure his blindness, but instead he runs into a little fictional country that still has feudalism and has its own duke. And Matt Murdock quickly realizes that the Duke is a dictator, and he gets wrapped up in the revolution to overthrow this guy. And so he sends all of his little knights to attack Daredevil. And it inevitably leads to the doctor having to sacrifice his own life, which inevitably makes it so Matt Murdock can't cure his blindness. But in terms of a character thing, this is the issue where Foggy Nelson acknowledges his love for Karen Page and his jealousy that she is obviously attracted to Matt. And that kind of becomes an issue in this book. And Foggy is kind of a shitty friend if you really read the way he talks about Matt in this issue.
He's like, I really like you. I got this powder. Want to try it?
So there we go. Daredevil, issue #9, 1964, fine minus, $40. All right. So there we go. So far, we have our Submariner #2, very fine minus, $60. Our big bad boy, Journey into Mystery, annual #1, a very fine plus, $1,100. And our Daredevil #9, fine minus, $40. Oh, someone.
Yeah, Mr. Edson's going to claim that one.
Sorry. So let's take.
I'm going to do you these 2.
Okay.
It's 2 of the same.
Oh, okay. This is, yes.
So
All right.
people want an option.
Got it. Excuse me. I need a.
Foggy's just trying to win. Okay. All right.
But it's that kind of thing. You ever have that friend who's supposedly a really good friend, and yet they constantly talk shit about you to a girl that they like, and who that girl obviously has an attraction to you, and you're like, dude, come on, man. Like, I had a friend like that in high school, like constantly talking shit about me.
That's not a friend.
No, of course not. I mean, I know that at the time.
If that's your friend, that's not your friend. That's
that's
what people used to tell you when you're a kid.
Yeah, what is going on here? Okay, so all right, so we have a few issues from this early run. We've done issue 107, we've done issue 106, and we've done issue 100. Now we have 2 copies of this issue here, which is issue 108. We have a very good copy at $15, and that grade is primarily because we have 2 loose centerfolds. And then we have a fine minus copy at $22. And the issue that we are talking about is Captain America 108 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The Trapster is helping that name, Trapster. Hey, what's up? My name's Trapster.
Why do you give that pervert voice?
Because he is a pervert.
What's up, pervert?
What's up, pervert? All right, so this is written by Stan Lee, illustrated by Jack Kirby. Obviously, that is a cover by Jack Kirby. This is the issue where Cap tries to rescue Sharon Carter from being imprisoned by the Trapster, who is obviously in league with the Red Skull this time. Soon enough, Cap realizes the Sharon Carter being held prisoner is an life model decoy. That's right, because the mysterious figure that has been helping him defuse all of the Trapster's traps is none other than the real Sharon Carter. Little gender progressiveness by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. No damsels in distress in this issue. So there we go. Captain America issue 108. This is our fine minus copy at $22. And then we have our very good copy at $15. Primarily that is because two of the centerfolds are a little loose. All right. So there are those two copies.
Cool.
All right.
We're gonna do another top 10 book.
Ooh, another one. How many do we have left after this one?
4. But I'm saving them for a reason.
Okay, cool.
I feel like this would have been a lot more exciting maybe 2 months ago. But I'm still pretty excited by it.
Yeah.
But for other reasons, people would be interested in this.
Nice.
In which case now they're probably not.
Do you think Jason's still in the bathroom?
He better not be.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big one. It was always a big one.
Jason's there.
But it became even a bigger one back in February, March, so somewhere in that range. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to acknowledge is this is a fine copy at $300. Okay, so this might be the last of the top 10s being slightly affordable.
There's nothing lower than 1,000 anymore.
Okay, all right.
Just so you guys know.
In terms of the top 10s, we do have other books.
10, we do have other books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the one aspect of this book that affected its grade is the bottom staple has rust. And the back cover, it's not water damage. I'm not exactly positive. It looks like a stain, but it's not really like what moisture would be. The cover is just gorgeous. I mean, you see all of the variation of the color shading and everything, and this book is monochromatic. So that already means that any kind of shading, any variation in tone is very noticeable. This is an extremely iconic cover. This is a cover that's been homaged very many times. This book is from 1968, and it has a first appearance of a pretty major character and a second appearance of a pretty major villain. So let's see. So I've said fine. I've said $300. I've acknowledged what its biggest flaw is. And so with that said, let's reveal Avengers number 57, the first appearance of the Vision and the second appearance of Ultron, and also contains the death of that Ultron, which I'm pretty sure was Ultron 5. Behold the Vision. So there we go. Avengers number 57, fine, $300, and it looks like it just got claimed.
Mr. Kieran, you beat them all out. Apologies to Mr. Barucci, Mr. Melendez. Sorry, guys. He got you. He was waiting for it.
Sharpshooted that one, man. Yeah.
It just goes to show. Did you put this on Instagram? If you go on Instagram, you got.
Well, it was the
scoop.
All right, we had 3. Yeah, for anyone who's curious, if we ever get epic books that show up in the 11th hour, I'm gonna put them on Instagram because I want people to know.
That's what it's for.
What else is the point of it? As much as I enjoy some of the more like just putting up interesting imagery and stuff like that, I also want people to know when we have some pretty big books. And this was one of them. And this was part of the trio that showed up today.
Or you could just post up across the street like Mr. Kiernan and wait for Mike to bring the books and just look at them. Either way, whatever you guys want to do, how you want to spend your Sunday.
Actually, be honest with you, if I didn't work at a comic book store, I would hang out with Jason and have some drinks and then walk over to a comic book store on a Sunday afternoon. That's actually a fun way to spend a day.
He didn't invite you.
Oh, it's okay. I'll sit on the table, from behind you.
We'll sit with that homeless guy and walk around asking people for food. All right.
Oh, yeah, the homeless guy who just walks up and just goes, "Yo, can I have your burger?"
I was trying to hold this off for Mr. Oz because he's interested in this costume.
Okay.
He was looking for more with this costume, but he had to go. I don't know.
Oh, he had to go?
He had a date or something.
Oh, that sucks. This is such a good one.
But he also grabbed a bunch of books tonight. So
yeah, it's true. And I know how he spends his money. He doesn't need to be spending too much.
No, save your money, dude.
Keep working on your animation, bud. Okay. God, maybe I should just buy this and not even show anybody.
Hey, you know what? We'll do another one.
No. We're gonna do this one.
No, we got a good one.
Okay, it's a very fine minus grade. Great condition, especially when you consider the predominant color is white. And anybody who knows covers that are white from the 60s, they don't age well usually. But this looks pretty good. But this was funny when I was doing some research about this issue. I found out some. It's not that complicated, but it's still, I found it very fascinating. So this is a very fine minus grade at $30. All right. Now, they took a Steve Ditko image from, I believe, Strange Tales 144, 146, somewhere in that range. They took a Gene Colan drawn figure, and then they superimposed both of those characters onto a black and white photo of the New York skyline. And it made for a really interesting kind of pop art collage, late 60s cover, which, Kirby was doing a lot of that in some of the later Fantastic Four. And then he started doing more of that in the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and stuff like that. I really enjoyed.
Does this predate that? Like as far as the Kirby stuff?
It definitely predates the DC stuff, what he did, but he really perfected it. Like there's some double page spreads in Jimmy Olsen that are just like, whoa. I don't know if he was already starting to do this in some of the later Fantastic Fours. I would imagine they were probably doing this around the same time, 1968 and everything. But the book that we are talking about is from 1969. This is Doctor Strange 180. There you go. So they took a Steve Ditko image of Eternity. They took a Gene Colan in the new costume of that Doctor Strange, and they superimposed it. So this is all a collage cover, which was really new in the comic book publishing medium at the time. It's Eternity. Very fine minus copy, $30. Doctor Strange 180. Now, is there anything? Bear with me real quick. I'm gonna look at my notes just to see if there's an interesting anecdote.
Thank you, Duke.
Oh, hey, Duke. What's up, buddy?
Shout out to Duke. Shout out to Mr. Williams is in the chat, too.
Oh, Mr. Williams. What's up, Terrence?
What's good, everybody?
What's happening, man? No. It's really the cover that seems to be the big, unique novelty of that era. Those late 60s, early 70s Doctor Strange is so cool.
That's a sweet-ass cover.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very cool. All right. So what's next up? Actually, Zanin, you in the chat?
Zanin, you in the chat there, buddy?
Zanin, let me know that you're there because there is a book that I showed Zanin the other night, and his eyes lit up. And it looked like the end of Ratatouille when the really mean film critic ate the rat's Ratatouille. And it caused him to have this childhood flashback to true joy and pleasure and safety. When Zanin saw this issue, he had this look of pure pleasure on him. And so I try very often not to allow too many books to be claimed before we get them onto the show. I want to try to be fair to everybody. But the moment he looked at that, I knew it was his book. but I still wanted to show it off on the show because it is one of the most iconic covers of the entire Marvel Universe. Also, I found out a neat little anecdote about it in terms of some elements in it that the artist was homaging that I thought was kind of interesting. And also, out of all of the books I posted about on Instagram this past week, this is the one where I got the most kind of people DMing me, either asking me about its availability or trying to remind me of the problematic nature of the artist lately. Of course I know, but this is not the time or place to really discuss that. So other than acknowledging, because again, I'm not going to sit here and not let people know who worked on this stuff. Because like most things in life, a lot of times we're going to find ourselves in situations where we have to separate art from artists. And there's one thing that cannot be denied about this book. It is a masterclass of late 60s art. Okay?
And to everybody in the chat, Mr. Foreman is an extremely good customer and has been shopping here most of his life. So it's not necessarily paying favorites. We're just looking out for our customers. We really just want to showcase the book. And for any of you, we would do the same thing if it was a book that struck such nostalgic chords. Did
anyone say something? Or
they're all crying and complaining, crying ass bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we know Zaynan's definitely there.
Zaynan's in the chat.
All right. Zaynan's in the chat.
And we're not looking to dig anybody else over, but this book's claimed.
It's claimed, but it's a unique book, and I still wanted to be able to show it off. That's all. Because in all honesty, Zane could have walked out with it on Friday, and no one would have known. And as most of you who've watched this for a while now, Zane, he's our boy, man. I mean, all of you are our boys, but
And he comes in every single week. Picks his books up every single week. Never a problem. Very nice guy.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. There have been a lot of times I was going to stop doing this. There were times I found myself in emotional situations looking at doing this whole thing. And I would a lot of times question, what the hell am I even doing? Why am I bothering? Why am I putting in so much work and effort? I don't know. And Zaynan would always be like, dude, shut your baby mouth. Just go out there and do it. This is a blast. Stop whining. Stop crying. Stop making it about you. And I'd always be like, Zaynan, you're right. So with that said, the fact that Al and I are still standing here selling the kind of books that we have the past 2 weeks, I give you a lot of credit, Zaynan. You really kicked me in my ass. All right? And with that said,
they're all like, nobody cares. Just give them this book. No, stop.
What the hell?
Stop.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
They're saying nobody cares that he's getting the book ahead of time. Relax.
All right.
There's a lot of love for Zaynan in the chat. That's all.
It's like,
you got big shoes to fill, Zaynan.
I mean, like, dude, we still have an hour and 15 minutes to get through, all right? I mean, if you just want to buy books, show up on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll just sell them to you. Anyway, here we go. So we have here Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., #1, written and illustrated by Jim Steranko. This is a very good copy at $50. It is a gorgeous pop art cover. It is the first appearance of Scorpio. It is the first appearance of the Zodiac Key. But what I found so interesting about this issue, okay, is half of the issue, the beginning of the issue, is this silent scene where you see Nick Fury. He's climbing up a mountain, and he breaks into this castle, and it's all this like weird psychedelic stuff going on. And again, no dialogue, no sound effects, nothing. And he's just going through the castle, and he's dealing with all this weird psychedelic stuff. And then suddenly he gets his head blown off. And you're like, what the hell? What just happened? And this person steps out of the shadows, puts his gun down, and he rips off his mask, and you guessed it. It was Nick Fury. What I didn't know about this scene was Jim Steranko has said on multiple occasions he was ripping off the French noir heist film from 1955 called Rafifi, where the movie is all about this heist. And the heist, which lasts about 20 minutes to a half an hour, is all told in pure silence. No sound effects, no music, no dialogue, nothing. And he was just so moved by that at some point when he would get the opportunity, he wanted to use that technique in a comic book. This is that comic book, okay? So there we go. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. from 1968, issue number 1. Now, the one thing that does affect Zainin, you're the one, I imagine, purchasing this. So
we can order that for you if you want it. It's not something we have in stock. It's massive in every sense of the word. It's like that. It's that thick Snyder blood.
Oh my God, I think it was huge.
Yeah, it's like the size of a coffee table, and it weighs like close to 25 pounds. Like it's enormous. We can absolutely order it for you. I don't know. It might be easier if you just get it at your local shop, shipping wise.
Yeah.
But
we'll inquire. Who knows if it's even still available?
That's the other thing. That was like a year ago.
Yeah, those things go out of print so quickly. But Zayn, just so you know, because I imagine you're the one claiming this. If not, then what was the whole point of all that, qualifying statements? Most of it's grade of being VG. Whoever owned this book, however long ago, they wrote their name on the back cover. So, fair warning. So there we go.
It'd be funny if it was Zayn.
God, could you imagine that? It was like 12 Monkeys, and really like Zayn is this time traveler, and like he's forgotten his mission. So he's been looking for that issue for all of these decades, so he can finally find out what his mission is.
There are no words in here. What's my mission?
All right,
we're gonna get a little ethnic now. Like that.
Is that a proper use of the word?
Not at all.
I don't even know.
Extremely offensive. But I'm doing Jim Steranko books, so I thought it would.
Is it kind of like when the coded language whenever they would say urban?
It's like when on Mike's show, 2 of our customers had a conversation about blackface and blackface emojis, thinking that was appropriate.
What?
And they all got deleted, and they were mad at me. They were like, "Well, why isn't that?" So you can't talk about that. Like you can't have this witty banter about emoji blackface in the chat on a show when we're trying to sell books.
Sarcasm and satire doesn't play very well in chats when you're just trying to sell some books. I mean, again, Al and I have a bad tendency of thinking we're clever and walking a fine line and usually sticking our foots in our mouth.
It made for an interesting Monday. So thank you, Zainin. Thank you, everybody's patience while he discussed the book. I know you're all itching to get to this one.
Okay. This is a Fine Plus cover. This is a Fine Plus grade at $20. This is from, what is it? What year is this? This is definitely Bronze Age.
74.
72. 1972. Written by Gary Friedrich and Roy Thomas. Illustrated by Sid Shores. And our next Gil Kane cover. Yeah, our first Gil Kane cover here tonight on The Experience. We had a bunch earlier on the local show, but now this is our next Gil Kane cover. Also, this book is very relevant. It's about an oppressed people who are abused and hurt by a bunch of white people. And then when they take their case to the American judicial system, the judge tells them that they're not real human beings or American citizens. And so despite how abused, hurt, and murdered their people have been, the courts will not recognize their case. So please get the hell out of my courtroom, which is why this guy has to come to their rescue. And you better believe I'm talking about the treatment of Native Americans and the fact that Red Wolf has to come to the rescue because the American judicial system pretty much told them to go F off. So even in so again, I'm going to come back to this idea because I've heard a lot of people say it. Keep politics out of comic books because it never was political before. We've had a lot of books on this show for a while now, and a lot of them, especially in the early mid-70s, are very political. Okay, just throwing that out there to all those culture warriors who want us to just shut up and get back to dribbling a basketball if we played basketball. For all those people who just want us to sell comic books and just keep our mouths shut. This book is mean. Like, when I read that was the plot, I was like, no, stop. So I looked through this and I read it, and I got to tell you, it's mean. It's cruel, very cruel, which is why you need Red Wolf and his Red Wolf. Well, I completely forget what the Red Wolf's name is. So there you go. Native Americans are killed, dehumanized, and ignored by the courts.
Is it
Timber? America to this day.
Whose dog is Timber? Somebody has a dog that's named Timber.
Oh, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eye, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Snake Eyes. Yeah.
Which I heard that's really good.
Oh, is it? All right, cool, nice. So anyway, all heavy kidding aside, is that like heavy petting, except it makes everyone feel really gross? Well, because I think a lot of heavy petting also makes a lot of people feel gross. Red Wolf, number 1, 1972, fine plus copy, $20.
All right, we're coming up on 6.
Coming up on...
Or no, I'm sorry,
7.
On 7. Do you want to do a top 10 before our break at 6 or at 7?
How many top 10s do we have left?
4.
No.
We're gonna
the last hour.
Yeah.
The last hour we're doing. Now I don't know when our break is coming.
We got a break at 7, so in about 7 minutes.
Okay, so about 7 minutes. All right, and so we have 4.
We got 4 big ticket books left.
Big tickets.
And then we have a handful of. And we got a ton of books to sell.
Okay. Here, you know what? Here,
I'm going to give you these.
Actually, no, I want one because I want to talk about the nature of the speculation market. Okay. The book that I was going to use is a store variant until I found out it's sold for $25 and $30.
I don't have that book.
No, it's there. It's in the back. Is it not the back? Oh, I have it. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right, so I was rooting through the Greg hole the other day, and I found a couple books, and I went, man, these will make for really good store show variants. And for anyone who's watching us in the experience, has never watched our local show before, a running gag shtick that we do at the end of every local show is Al and I give out a store show variant. And what we usually do, more often than not, they are books that don't really carry much value, but are kind of fun and goofy and weird and everything. And then Al and I will sign and date them and make them a relevant artifact to our shows that we were doing every week. Well, I found this one, and I was like, oh, this will make for a great store variant. And then the other day, again, there are all of these different apps and websites, because I need to keep up with the ever-changing secondary market, just to know what things are valued at, what things are drawing different kinds of interest and stuff. And I suddenly saw on one of these apps, actually 2 of these apps, I saw this book, and I went, wait a minute. Is that the same book? Am I seeing that right? Is that the same one that I pulled out as a store variant? So I go and I find it, and there it is. I'm like, okay, this is the one. And I'm looking, and I'm like, stop. Let me go to eBay. So I go to eBay, and on Friday, a copy of this sold for $25. A couple days prior to that, a low-grade copy of it sold for $10. And another copy sold for $15. One sold for $20. And I was like, what is going on? What is this? And so, me being the great capitalist that I am, I said to myself, screw that store variant. I'm going to price this high grade, very fine plus copy at $10. All right. So it's a very fine plus.
$15 cheaper than it sold for on eBay.
Yeah. Literally sold for 3 days ago. Okay. Now, this is from 1994, right around when this publisher was about to go the way of the dodo. This company, Now Comics, was not going to be around for much longer. But this was a one-shot that was published in 1994 that was one of the last gasps of this title. And this title is based off of a very famous, long-running sitcom at the time. The future is now is their slogan. And I don't know if their future is going to be around for much longer than that moment called now, because they don't exist anymore. But this book has value. I don't know how much longer this book is going to maintain its value, but we're going to sell it here tonight, a very fine plus, at $10. And just out of curiosity, see if anyone is interested in the book by Married with Children, Buck's Tale. That's right, the origin of the family dog of the Bundys. So, Married with Children, Buck's Tale, #1. One of the many examples where I'll never fully understand the secondary market. I can't figure out why it suddenly has value, why suddenly people are buying it for $25, $30. It blows my mind. But I figured a lot of you would be maybe interested, or maybe you'll just have a nice laugh with me. Or maybe this is the issue you've been waiting for all this time. And you're like, oh my God, there it is, finally. And you take it off of our hands here for $10. But if not, it's going to sit up there and bad to the milk bone will stare at us for the rest of the show. So there we go.
Mr. Marucci, were you claiming, or were you?
I think he was just excited, probably. I'd be shocked if anyone purchased it.
Mr. Chamberlain's going to judge them in front of everybody.
But I got to be honest. Let me know, anybody. Is there a reason why this book is suddenly selling? And I mean, are any of those Married with Children books, do they carry value? Is there some weird thing I don't know? Low print runs?
I have most of them, and I don't even know if I read them.
There was that one couple. It was like a mother and a daughter, and they would come in like maybe 2 or 3 times a year and only buy Married with Children comic books. You had to have been, maybe you're never here.
I don't know if
It's this mother and daughter duo. Very nice ladies, but they would only buy Married with Children comics, which is the only reason why we don't have very many Married with Children comics. Someone's buying it?
Mr. Marucci's taking it.
All right, Nick, you're a better man than I am.
Mr. Chamberlain is judging.
Is there a lot of side eyes going on?
Thank you, Mr. Marucci.
Who knows? Nick, you might be able to roll it out in a day or two and sell it for $30. So,
Buck's Tale. What about it?
Buck's Tale.
Hey man, good purchase, man. Forget all the rest of this shit.
Well, the funny thing is I'm pretty sure it's the only time that the origin of Buck, the dog, has ever been told.
I don't know the origin of Buck.
I don't know the origin of Buck.
I've watched that show more than one time.
So thank you, everybody. I that was just one of those. And again, I did not want to have a Silverhawks moment all over again, or an Insane Clown Posse moment, or what are the many other store variants where we got yelled at because supposedly the book was worth $50 and we were the jackasses writing all over it.
He was hemming between that and the Thor annual.
Ooh.
He went with Buck's Tale.
Yeah, no, you probably, as much as I love that Thor annual, you probably made the right choice. In fact,
first appearance of Buck as a puppy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 7 o'clock. We're going to...
7 o'clock break? Good, because I got to get back to my puppy in a little over an hour. I'm very happy to see her. So I guess we're going to do a break, and we'll see you on the other side.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Like, if you didn't say specifically,
Hey, what's up? We're obviously talking,
so we could just screw him out of the book he wanted
yeah,
and just not even tell him. We just won't.
right.
All
I mean, what does it matter, right?
F that dude. Hey, everybody, back from a break.
Okay, so we have 4 of our top 10s left.
4 big books, and then
we have those. Okay,
a
all right.
handful of small, unless you got stuff over there you want to do.
Well, no, I mean, I have plenty of books and bundles and everything that we just haven't been able to get to because of last week and then obviously this week. So I don't know if I specifically said, everyone knows what we have left. It's just a matter of when we roll them out. So I guess what we'll do is let's do one of the big ones. The first one I said, because the second one we'll do. The only reason that second one exists is because of the first one. Because of the first one.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll be curious. I'd enjoy to tell that little anecdote. All right. If you don't know what our last 4 books are, like the big 4 books are, then either we didn't go live until after I said the order I was hoping to do them in, which you'll get to see a little.
Woo! That is fucking cool.
I know, right?
That's just really cool.
It is really cool. Okay. All right. How do we want to? Okay, so
Top 10 alert. Whoop, whoop.
These are big. All right. We have 4 left. All right.
Anybody, I mean, honestly, a lot of these books are not in anybody's kind of market. So we appreciate everybody continue watching, even though I mean, it's getting up there now. So thank you to everybody for staying with us.
Yeah. And again, we don't, like last week felt like an aberration when we actually sold all of those books. That actually really shocked me. I really thought last week's show and this week's show were more of almost like a showcase, like almost like letting people know that we even have these. I genuinely thought that Mike was going to be able to show some of them on his shows, which are on the Comic Book Shopping Network tomorrow from 12 to 1 and 4 to 6, and then on Tuesday from 10 to 12. But they never made it off of this show. So thank you, everybody, from last week claiming and purchasing all those books. So again, with this week, because some of our books, like we've said, are very expensive. And we're not making any assumptions, but we want people to know that we have these books. Because if they don't make them, if they make it off of our show and they're still here, Mike will then give it his go. And then maybe Mike will try online, see if anyone's interested in picking them up or what have you. Or for all you know, next week we might be like, hey, remember this book? It's still available. Yeah.
We'll give it to Eric to decorate his desk.
Yes. All right. So we are going to do one of the final 4. All right. And this one, the funny thing is I didn't know this at the time, but this book was late to publication. The next of the big 4 that is going to come up, that book exists, as far as I can tell from the anecdotes and stories from my research. That book exists primarily because this book was running late. So Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are sitting around going, what are we going to do? This book is not going to make it out in time, which is also why there are 2 artists on the cover. There's 2 artists in the interior. There's a lot of, cooks in the kitchen trying to get this book out on time. And because it wasn't, they created a epic book. But we will get to that in a little bit. The first one we're going to talk about is the one that was delayed. And all right, so let's first talk about this grade. Okay, so the grade of this is a very good. Now, the major flaw of this book, outside of just basic wear and age, I mean, again, this book is from 1964, okay? But the major actual kind of damage to the book is there is a 2-inch split at the top of the spine, okay? So, yep, it's very noticeable. I mean, it holds itself together and everything like that. But if you were to remove this book from this, you will absolutely notice that there is about 2 inches at the very top of the spine where the book is split, okay? That is its biggest flaw. And then outside of that, the rest is primarily just age. Again, this is a cover that was predominantly white. And so, of course, white doesn't age well, especially from 1964. So, all right. So it is a very good copy with the aforementioned 2-inch split on the spine. But this book is still $1,600. And I was looking it up in terms of the market and what the book was selling for. Good copies. So we're talking about a lesser grade was selling on average around $1,500 to $1,800. So some of you might go, $1,600, that's really expensive. Others might even say, you sell your books too cheap. As long as the books are selling, I can't really, whatever, you know?
You know, it's I mean, he got the book he wanted, so I'm not, but this is one of Mike's big books.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's looking to complete this run. And we got somebody else in the chat looking to complete the run that I don't know if this is a big one. But, you know, we'll see.
Okay. So it was the first appearance of 3 characters. All 3 characters have been in movies and TV shows. It is one of my all-time favorite characters. 2 of my favorite runs from the early 80s and the late 80s pertain to this character. This is a character. In fact, we had an issue on the local show where we talked about, I will never fully understand why they chose this costume. I don't get it. I look at it still to this day, and it is insanely ugly. Like,
remember when they brought it back in like the 90s for a little bit?
And
trying to do it again.
It just doesn't work. The book that we are talking about is from 1964.
Wait.
Yes?
To anybody who claimed the book already, so saith the experience, before he flips it around, can't be claimed. So that's the rule.
Oh, yeah. That's something I forgot to mention, but it's something we mentioned a bunch.
Yeah.
You can't claim it until it's revealed, even if you think you know what it is.
If you think you're claiming the right book, because you may not be. So wait. So here we go.
So with that said, if you think you have the right choice, and type it in now and get ready to hit enter, or you might be wrong and you better correct yourself real quick, or you're going to wreck yourself. Because we're talking about the Billy Club throwing Daredevil. Daredevil, #1, first appearance of Matt Murdock / Daredevil, first appearance of Foggy Nelson, first appearance of Karen Page, first appearance of one of the ugliest costumes I've ever seen in my life. It's just it.
Oh man! Shout out to Mr. Chamberlain. Got it.
Oh, Mr. Chim, you already got it. Good job, man. But now this was something Isaac, Stone Cold Hall of Fame customer Isaac, was here today, and we were as I was pricing this bad boy up and getting it ready for the show tonight. We talked about Wally Wood doing the art for this issue. That is actually not true. Wally Wood, I think, came on issue 2 or 3. Now, there's probably a reason why Wally Wood was chosen, because this book, now the cover is Jack Kirby and Bill Everett. Bill Everett is also the illustrator of the interior of the book. If you're not familiar with who Bill Everett is, he's the creator of the Submariner. Bill Everett was not making his deadline. Now, there is a personal reason at this point in Bill Everett's life, which many of you, if you don't know the history of Marvel Comics, Bill Everett was a bit of an alcoholic. And I think he was having some difficulty at this period in his career maintaining deadlines and stuff like that. And so that's why this book was late. It was supposed to have come out soon after Amazing Spider-Man #1. I think soon after Fantastic Four, which is why Spider-Man and Fantastic Four both guest star in this issue, because obviously Matt Murdock was the attorney for the FF, and a street-level hero was Spider-Man. But the book was late, which, to try to catch up with the deadline, Steve Ditko came into the scene to finish off Bill Everett's layouts and whatever pages he hadn't finished. And so you get a weird mix, Stan Lee written, Jack Kirby, Bill Everett cover, and then Bill Everett and Steve Ditko interiors. It's a very interesting, weird creation, considering the fact that the book would really come into its own once Wally Wood became the regular artist, and once in issue number 7, they introduced the iconic red outfit. But doesn't change the fact that this is still a historically important Marvel comic book. Daredevil, #1.
So thank you, I'll let you know. Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. Jason, if you want it, Mr. Chamberlain is willing to relinquish it to you since you missed out last week.
Yes.
I can't remember Tales of Suspense.
Right, but Jason, don't forget, you know there's another book coming up that you were really like drooling all over.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Barucci. Nobody really wants to pass it along to you, it looks like. They're all just, he was the first to have everybody. And they're like, you want it? You hot potato, nobody wants that book.
Man. We need to get like a March Madness of all the people who like watch us often and really like pit each other against each other. Oops.
I mean, well, let me know whoever. I'm gonna put it for Mr. Chamberlain. If somebody else is claiming it, you guys work it out.
Yeah. So it's been claimed.
It's been officially. It's going to Mr. Chamberlain. He's offering it to Mr. Kiernan if he would like it. If not, I believe Mr. Barucci was next in line. Or yeah, I don't know.
You guys figure it out amongst yourself.
Let us know what you want to work out.
But the one thing I don't want to see is that book coming back into my possession. All right, so let's see. What time is it? Oh, wow. Okay, so it's already 7:15. Right. So here's what we're going to do. We're only going to do the last 3 Hall of Famers, okay? Because by the time I'm done belaboring the point and rattling off like a jack tool, we're going to be running out of time, okay? And to be very honest with you, we have a hard out. The experience is established that we're not important enough to ever go late. But whenever anyone else is going late, we have to suck it up. So I want to get home to my dog. So maybe we'll end this early. Maybe around seeing how quickly we get through these last 3 issues.
Let's just put them up and get out of here, man.
I know. At this point,
we're good.
My puppy's waiting for me.
I hate to keep belaboring it, Mr. Chamberlain. If you don't want the book, just be real specific and say I don't want it, because otherwise it's going to go back and forth.
Give me
You don't want to do that?
No, because I want to keep that one before we reveal the last one. Yes. Okay. All right. So I was recently talking about Daredevil #1 having a lot of publishing problems. It was late. It wasn't going to meet its shipping date and everything. So Marvel was in a position, because they were still at that era of their publication, where whatever weird rule or law that like DC was placing on them, where they were only able to publish 8 titles, which is why most of their titles were split books. Like Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, Strange Tales, all that kind of stuff. So Daredevil #1 was not going to make it onto the shelves when they wanted it to. So Lee and Kirby are sitting around going, we need to come up with something, and we need to get it out quick, Okay? Now, the fact that this book exists, and it exists as them just being like, I don't know what to do. We need this to be really fast. Throw it all together and throw it out there. And this is what they created? Kirby, genius. Stan Lee, very good at what he did. This book primarily only exists because of Daredevil #1 not coming out on time. And Stan Lee and Jack Kirby looked around at their stable of characters and they said, who's doing what? Who's around? What do we got? What's going on? And I say that because there's been a lot of accusations about this book and the Fantastic Four being Stan Lee and Jack Kirby ripping off the Justice League. In my opinion, there is no evidence. First of all, the Fantastic Four is the Challengers of the Unknown, people. Come on. And in this book, Justice League? Stop it. Is it them just being like, who's a solo character and let's throw them all together and make a superhero team? Something that Marvel doesn't really have at that time outside of the Fantastic Four, which was technically a family. And Jack Kirby and Stan Lee looked around and they said, we got the Hulk, we got Thor, we got Iron Man, and we got Ant-Man and Wasp. Let's throw them all together. And let's call them the Avengers. And what we have here is Avengers #1, a very good plus copy at $2,500. Okay? Now, this book was already significant, like exceptionally significant in regards to Marvel history, in regards to comic books across the board. But we are living in 2021. And starting in 2008, culminating in 2010, and then especially culminating in the past few years, the Avengers have become one of the most globally significant brands in human history. And I don't say that lightly, and that it's not hyperbole. I mean, outside of Superman in the late 70s and Batman in the late 80s, there hasn't been a superhero concept that has just completely and utterly infiltrated itself throughout the globe, throughout multitudes of different cultures. And Avengers #1 is one of the big cultural artifacts of this. And Jason, you can bite me. You get up here and do this. If you think this is easy, then please. Actually, Jason, we always say this with certain customers. Anyone wants to guest star, Al and I are always looking to just sit here and be silent. You can please show up on the show and you can talk about any books you want to talk about.
You got to sell them.
You got to sell them though, man.
You
just saying.
Sell them for $2,500.
So here we go. Avengers #1, very good plus, $2,500. The first teen appearance and origin of the Avengers.
Mr. Wordman, that was the 5 Heartbeats. That's what you're thinking of.
What's the 5 Heartbeats?
That was the group they made a movie about.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain.
Oh, what? Thank you very much.
No, he was waiting for it. I think he was.
Oh, did he know?
You saw on the Instagram, yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God, the Instagram works. No, just kidding. All right. Okay, 722. All right. Jason, you better be paying attention because there might be some vultures in this chat that are going to sneak this bad boy from you. And we're going to talk about our penultimate Holy Grail book. It is one of the biggest. I mean, earlier when Jason and I were talking about its significance, and I'm convinced in a few years, these books, and especially this one, is going to be even bigger than it already is. And to be honest with you, I know I've said this a lot the past 2 weeks, but it is very rare that we have had the collection of titles and issues that we have had in the past 2 shows. And when Mike showed up with this, I plotzed, for like
It's a big one.
I mean, these next 2 are all of these books have been huge, but these next 2 for some reason feel even bigger for some weird reason. Admittedly, it helps that they are probably next to that Avengers #1 that just got claimed for $2,500. The next one, which is $2,500 as well, and then the one after that are probably the most expensive books that we've ever had since we've worked here, and definitely that we've ever had on any of these live stream shows. Okay. This next one that we are going to get to, no, not that one yet. or no, you already.
That's what you told me to pass. You said no, you wanted Avengers. That's the last thing you had.
Oh, okay, yeah. I went. Yeah, I went that one. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay, this one. It's not just one first appearance. It is a multitude of first appearances. It even has a third appearance of a character who we might have a first appearance of. It is a book that spawned one of the greatest superhero comic book runs of all time. It is a book that was published, I believe, in 1975. Yep, 1975. It is a fine minus at $2,500. Okay? It not only contains one story, it contains 4 stories, 3 of which are reprints. I can't help it.
You're buying a trade.
You're buying a trade at that point. All right, let me see here. What can I? Man, there is a lot about this. Let me just get to it.
It's a big one.
Anyone who's been paying attention to our Instagram page, you've already seen this. Next to that Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., next to Avengers #1, this was the one I got the most DMs about, most likes, people reacting with just pure pleasure at the act of seeing it. And it is a cover illustrated by Gil Kane.
I'm shocked.
I know, right? Now, it's also illustrated by a gentleman by the name of Dave Cockrum. I actually thought that the cover was done purely by Dave Cockrum. That is not the case. Gil Kane is the main artist.
No, I'm trying to see. Yeah. I didn't know if maybe Cockrum did that.
I think
like if he did a certain set and then Kane did the rest.
I don't know, and I kept looking to find out because sometimes they'll tell you, like that Amazing Spider-Man '96, where John Romita Jr. is credited as cover artist on the book, but really all he drew was just the one face of Green Goblin. That's it. So I look at this and I see a lot of Dave Cockrum, but at the same time, compositionally, it kind of has a Gil Kane vibe. So you obviously all know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I mean, you probably don't read comic books. You
will in about 10 seconds.
I'm just going to look at it one last time because I'll probably never see it again. God damn, it's awesome. Oof. Fine minus, $2,500. Giant size X-Men #1. First appearance of Storm. First appearance of Colossus. First appearance of Nightcrawler. First appearance of Thunderbird. First appearance of Krakoa. First appearance of Illyana Rasputin. And the third appearance of Wolverine. The book that started it all. One of the most significant comic books ever.
Shout out to Sam Melendez. Congratulations.
Ooh. Did Sam come in?
Sam got it.
Sam, good for you, man.
Kyle, can I get a time stamp? Like, can we get an official who it is? Because I got a lot of people at the same time, but I just want to make sure that Mr. Melendez got it. There we go. Bang.
So it's official?
It's official. Thank you, Mr. Melendez.
Wow, Sam.
I'm going to have to update that invoice I sent you significantly.
Man, it's a big one, guys. Like,
Whew. That's awesome, man.
the funny thing about this that I did not know until I was doing some research about it. There was an intention at the time by Marvel that, because a lot of you probably already know, the X-Men was a failed title at that point, and it had been canceled for a while. And so the initial plan was to do quarterly giant size issues going forward. So they were going to do giant size X-Men #1, giant size X-Men #2, #3, #4, all that shit. Okay. And not only did they introduce these new 7 characters, but they were going to have the characters combine with the original 6
that's rough.
to be the ultimate kind of X-Men team. And they would only publish, like I said, 4 times a year. This book was such a huge hit, that Marvel completely changed their plans and said, we got to try something different. And of course, that something different quickly became the Uncanny X-Men by Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Dave Cockrum, Paul Smith, John Romita Jr., Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, and on and on and on. So there we go.
Whew. 1.5 seconds.
Are you serious?
That's what the thing says. You beat him by 1 point. So congratulations, Sam. That's really fucking cool.
I feel weird. Should I feel guilty
Why should you feel guilty?
that we didn't just...
You didn't distract Jason from buying it.
I mean,
He got a lot of books to buy. Like
You're right. Jason, we're probably doing you a favor.
There's enough books for everybody, and I mean, you can't be mad at that. Like, you got a fair and square. So, shout out to Mr. Melendez. It's all in the spirit of good fun and good comics.
That book, man. Giant size X-Men #1.
You know what's funny? Out of all these, this is the one that I'm just like, that's cool. It's kind of cool, but it's not the one.
Oh my god. Giant size X-Men #1. So weird. Just so we're clear, even though it is the first appearance of Ilyana Rasputin, she's not named yet.
Yeah, that's a cool cover.
Yeah. Classic.
All right.
And it also, in case you want to know, Sam, it reprints. Where did I put my stupid note? Oh, yeah. It reprints X-Men 43, 47, and 57. So
There you go. Save you some money on an Epic collection. You got those now.
oh, boy. Man.
Avengers 8. Yeah, we don't have. Put it this way. Next week, we'll probably have all these same books again because Mike
Stop
just keeps
it.
finding these books, man.
Stop it. There's no way. This is not a sustainable model.
He called. He was like, I got a Superman. He's holding a car on the cover. You want it? I don't know.
Hey, did you hear for anyone who cares about crap like this, Detective Comics 27, I think just recently broke the record that Action Comics #1.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think Detective Comics 27, first appearance of Batman, has officially become the most valuable comic book of all time.
More so than Buck's Tale? Because I'd rather have Buck's Tale. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we got a few other small books. We'll just throw them out and see if we can sell them.
Yeah. We're not missing one of the top 10.
No, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll wait till some other time. Let's see. Or meet us on the other side and see if we're being assholes or not.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Yeah, maybe we should start auctioning. What a pain in the ass auctions are now.
Yeah, but not for us. We don't have any money to deal with it.
Oh yeah, definitely not for us. I can't afford anything. I can barely buy a burrito.
Man, I love a burrito.
Oh, right now? Sounds good, doesn't it?
Who's eating lasagna? Somebody in the chat was eating lasagna. How'd that lasagna turn out?
Who's eating lasagna?
They talk about their dinners.
Garfield in there? Hey, chat. Garfield versus Heathcliff. Go.
Heathcliff.
Really? Why? Give me a reason.
Because Heathcliff fought all the time. That's all he did was fight in that alley. Garfield was just lazy and ate lasagna. I'm sure Garfield could fight.
One of my all-time favorite, again, this has been said many times before, so this isn't anything new. But it's that internet series where somebody took every Garfield strip and removed Garfield from the comic strip. So John just looks...
It's like John is schizophrenic or something.
Yeah, he just looks like the most depressing human being that has ever existed.
They keep all his dialogue in.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Garf, so it just looks like he's talking to himself.
Yeah. And you get those great moments where it's like 2 panels of him just staring off into space, and then he goes, yeah, maybe one day.
He's like, I'm not doing these dishes.
All right. Let me prepare myself here.
There you go. Mr. Chamberlain knows. Oh man, it's like down the middle. And then Kyle jumps in with Felix.
Felix?
Because he's from the Depression, so I guess he could fight.
Okay. If we're throwing out dark horse candidates, I'm gonna go with Fritz because at least he's fun to party with.
Zane is backing up Felix.
Oh, even Zane is backing up Felix.
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
You're changing his theory about Felix now. Zane's co-signing it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm having I'm reevaluating my relationship with Zane. Okay. All right. This is it.
You doing that one first?
Well, I'm definitely doing the first appearance of this character, and that's the first appearance, right?
I mean, you don't want any of the other books. You want to just do it, and we're done with it, right? Like we'll just so we got one book left.
Let's see.
Well, it's a debate as to what the first appearance is.
Yeah, there is a debate, and so I'm gonna go with the one that everyone has decided is the first appearance, right?
That's fair.
Right. That's only fair. And that's a really good copy. In fact, I would call that copy a very fine near mint.
That looks like it was pressed months ago.
Right? It sure looks like.
I've never seen, except for like new books. I've never seen a book that holds that. With
it's gorgeous,
it's stunning.
I mean, the colors look brand new. I mean, this is one of the nicest copies of a significant book I've ever seen. Would you say?
I would think so.
Yeah,
and it's not a book. I mean, I've seen it very.
I mean, look at those colors. They're so rich.
I have seen it more than the debated first appearance.
The only thing I don't understand is why did we only price it at $15, and why does the cover price say $3.99? Right? Like, I don't get
I'm
it.
supposed to say that because we're trying to steal from everybody that's watching. We're trying to trick them into buying it, thinking it's original.
Oh, so this is a facsimile edition.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
But you're not supposed to say that on camera.
Again, I'm not very good at this. Oh, I feel so bad. It's okay. It's a very fine near mint copy at $15. And just because it's a facsimile edition doesn't make it any less the first appearance of this very famous character.
And for everybody's glad, we went on eBay before we even put it in the bag and came on the show, and they're selling for, what was it, like
$30.
$30 and they're grouped with other facsimiles. Facsimile market is a market now.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jason for letting us know.
And again, like everyone, I imagine everyone in the chat, the moment they see this cover, even as a facsimile edition, they're all going to be like, of course that's the first appearance of this character, because that's what we've all agreed on, right?
I think so.
That's what I think. So with that said, let us not shy away from the crown jewel of tonight's show. Yes, I am talking about the facsimile edition, the first appearance of Wolverine, Incredible Hulk 180.
I think more than anything, they're fed up with us now.
Was this the moment where we lost everybody?
You're dicking around too much. Just sell it. Come on. We waited for 4 hours of this nonsense.
All right, but for anyone who's looking for a facsimile edition of Incredible Hulk 180, we have one here for $15.
And those are legit going for like $30 a month.
Yeah, like we were, it was brought to our attention, and Al and I were both a little like, what the hell? But it's because...
Same deal. Low print runs, you're not going to see it again unless you buy a collection.
True.
So
plus, let's be honest.
This is what everybody came to see.
The originals are so priced out of so many people's market that the facsimile editions themselves are going up in value. So you all know what I'm holding in my hands. Anyone who watched the Instagram page, this was an 11th hour book that Mike dropped into my lap, and I had no idea what to do with myself when I first looked at it. And I was like, what the hell? We even got phone calls earlier today looking and inquiring about what we were selling it for. It's $4,800. $4,800.
Same deal. The minute he flips it around, that's when you got to claim it.
It's a fine minus. And no matter how much people whine, complain, debate, doesn't matter. This is the first full appearance of Wolverine, Incredible Hulk 181. A book that I genuinely thought I would never hold in my hands. Len Wein, Herb Trimp, Incredible Hulk 181. And now, the Wolverine. Fine minus $4,800. You don't need me. You've already heard. We've had some fun tonight. And you've heard me bullshit a lot. And I've talked a lot. And I've wasted a lot of your time.
I've never in my life written down Hulk 181 sold.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool for us.
Oh, yeah. Especially cool for Mike.
It's very...
Congratulations, Mike. The past 2 weeks, buddy.
Yeah, and thank you to Nick. This is a big one.
Thank you, Nick.
And thank you to everybody who has been watching us when we didn't have big ticket books and would still tune in every week, because that is significant in and of itself, and we appreciate it.
Because, let's be honest,
we're not going to have these again.
Well, we never knew. We don't always know. I spent a lot of time kind of preparing for these shows with the idea that more than anything, I hope to sell books, but I really hope to just kind of keep your interest. Like I've said on many occasions, Al and I greatly appreciate all of your time and your attention.
This is everything you bought today. We just want to make sure everybody knows what you purchased.
Yeah.
Whoever thought you would pay this much money for those 2 books?
Look at the significance of the comic book industry.
I mean, if you think about it, you pay $2,400 for the Hulk and $2,400 for the book.
So $48.10. No discounts. No discounts. Because you'll probably pay to get this graded, and it'll probably double or triple in price.
Yeah.
But I'm just
tuning into Nick's show tomorrow.
Yeah. But I just want to just linger for a moment. We were very fortunate and lucky the past 2 shows. And we were more fortunate and lucky not only to have these books, but to have your time and attention and the fact that you have claimed and purchased these books from us. You have beyond validated our existence. You have very much strengthened the Fat Jack's Comicrypt brand, which for one of the oldest comic book stores in American history is a big deal. And more than anything, it's a big deal because Mike deserves this. You know, he's put in a lot of work, time, effort, and his life into this industry and in this shop.
I mean, more than anybody here, that dude busts his ass, and he fucking deserves this.
More than
and thank you
any
to
of us.
Thank you to everybody. You put us all together, and he works hard. So it's just what it is, and we do appreciate, because this is what we do it for, is to keep the shop open and to keep all this going. We appreciate you guys, and it does not go overlooked.
This is fun. And it's very rare that it's going to be this easy to sell the books, which allows us to act like more jackasses because we know you'll tolerate us a little bit more.
We don't have the Hulk 182. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. We don't have the second.
We would have bundled all 3 of those together. $20.
Yeah, it would have been a bundle. All right. Well, let me remove this from my hands.
Let me see this thing for a
So
minute.
nothing happens to it. And it's 7:46. So
I mean,
it's over, guys. We're gonna say our piece.
We're gonna cut. He's got to get home to his dog.
I gotta get home with my puppy, man.
I'm hungry. Sorry, Mike. I know you're paying us to stay till 8, but we're not.
Oh shoot, he is paying us to stay to 8.
You can dock us for the last hour.
Yeah, dude, don't pay us for tonight. Who cares? Just.
No, this is cool. Holding this book is payment. I don't give a shit. Fuck it. Don't pay me for that. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's nice. Man, it has been fun.
See, he can cut through chains with his claws because his claws are made of a stronger metal than the chains.
Ooh,
Did you know that?
Oh, Duke, what?
You want to
Duke?
Duke? Books?
Duke is buying comics?
We're not here to sell books anymore. We're done.
Red Wolf, a culturally significant book. And Duke, let's just be clear. Submariner? Yo, Gary.
Oh, man. Gary Lime has kept me going all day today.
Gary, can't wait till you come next time and you're on the show and I'm not dying from my second shot so you and I can talk over each other.
All right. Wow.
Man.
That's exciting.
Man, it's been a 2 weeks.
Thank you, Duke.
Thanks, Duke.
Thank you, Duke. I don't want that to go overlooked.
Before we go, in case anyone's interested, we recently found another copy of Avengers #2, which was a very hot book. It's still pretty hot. It's going for much more than the $10 that we are selling it for. But this is one of those books that primarily has value because of the cover. Alex Ross doing the multiple variations of Kang the Conqueror. I point that one out primarily because I talked so much earlier about my beautiful Dynamic Forces Alex Ross painted print of Avengers #4, the book that we sold earlier today, and again was one of my personal favorites. Speaking of which,
this is like crazy looking through this box.
I know, isn't it?
Like it's
just like I'm not going to see that again.
It's not all condensed in one spot.
No,
it's unnatural. How many good books?
Like, because you would think, and again, I've had some people be like, "Why didn't you guys spread it out?" I completely understand the logic, but I don't like. If anything else, like I said earlier, I didn't expect all of these to actually sell the past 2 shows. I really thought we were more kind of promoting that we had them in our possession with the idea that maybe people would kind of sleep on it and then come at us a couple days later and maybe pick them up. Or maybe in following shows, we would still have them and people were like, you know what, it's finally time to purchase that Avengers #1, or it's finally time to pull the trigger on that Werewolf by Night 32. But instead, you bastards impressed the hell out of me and really validated months of work, to be very honest with you. The amount of times that I would do research to find out stupid little anecdotes about Phantom Stranger comics, and Al and I would have really good laughs and go about 90 minutes and not sell a single thing. It's all been validated. All right. So with that said, I need to get my little brother a shirt back. And more importantly, I got to get home to one of the very few things in this world that I truly love, my dog and my cats. So
he will be here Friday, Mr. Chamberlain, if you need to talk to him.
Oh, yeah. If anyone needs to hit me up. I'll be here Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all that kind of stuff. Again, people, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure these 2 weeks. We'll probably be back to me doing a song and dance, trying to sell you bundles.
Bundles next week.
And
bundles.
Random issues. Who wants a Lobo paramilitary Christmas special? Who wants a bunch of random Captain America with weird little anecdotes in them?
Hey, Mike, if you thought you would have books to put on your show, sorry.
You got one?
You got one. And if Mike's watching, the plush Lobo sold.
Did it really?
The little plushie?
Yeah.
Yeah, sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, today was a good day, right?
Today was a great day.
Oh, really?
Today was, because
had that vibe for a brief.
Mr. Lime called, so we did some over the phone business. Some people came in and picked up some books they had, but it was just a good day. Register was a good day. We sold a few books tonight.
Hey man, we're ice cubing it here. Today was a good day.
There you go.
So with that said, thank you everybody. Absolute pleasure. We'll be back to probably normal programming next week, where Al turns to me at some point and goes, "What the hell am I doing here?" And I go, "Please don't leave me."
I'll just be like, "Just keep going. It's fine. Just keep going. I don't know. It's fine. We'll see what happens. If it breaks, we'll start over."
Yeah. You mean when I start kicking things? For anyone who wants to, tomorrow, we've said this a few more times. We'll say it again. Mike and Al will be here on the Comic Book Shopping Network on Facebook from 12 to 1,
4 to 6, and
Tuesday
from 10 to 12, all times are Eastern. There's a link to everything on our Facebook page, including the Instagram page, which will have promo and whatever's coming out next week if we get new books.
Or it'll just be a bunch of random esoteric images from comic books with a bunch of weird quotes that no one seems to figure out where they come from.
And
hey, Mike's following me now on Instagram.
Is he?
Yeah, probably because he wants to make sure I'm not ruining his business. He's like, you know what? I'm allowing Brendan to post a lot that has our Fat Jacks connected to it. What is he doing?
Which Instagram are you posting on? Which Fat Jacks Instagram?
Oh, you mean the multitude of Fat Jacks Instagrams that we never knew existed before? But if anything else, you guys can find us back here next week, Sunday, 4:30 to sort of 6 on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Thatchx Comicrypt. And then we'll be back here on The Experience from 6 to 8. Again, as you can see right down there, you can also follow the Thatchx Instagram page all week. I've been maintaining one post a day at least.
And books should be on time this Wednesday for everybody who had to deal with me on last Wednesday. I was not pleasant. But everything should be here on Wednesday, new book day, all back to normal.
Cool. So with that said, thank you. Have a wonderful week. Take care. Be well. Love you guys.